Welcome to the party.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever you're watching this, thank you so much. This is Johnny and TheGreg. This is Topic Thunder. Greg,
Hey, how's it going?
good man. How about you?
Good. It's
Good.
I saw a T-shirt today that I really want to get. It says "essential and exhausted," and that's
Oh,
kind of
I
where
like
I'm living. That's where I'm living right now.
I like that. Yeah. I might be essential and hairy. I'm just
Yeah,
I am just growing hair everywhere.
I caved. I had to trim the beard because I was
Oh yeah,
getting it.
I noticed that.
I
Yeah.
did. I was like right around the chin area. It was going so uneven. I had one that was like, I swear it was a good 3 to 4 inches longer than everything else, and it wouldn't lay down. I'm like, I gotta do it, and so and it all.
Do you do like balm or any oils?
I have in the past, and because it's COVID stuff, and I'm not really going out
Yeah.
ever. Um, I'm not doing it right now because I'm not. I mean,
So you're
as
not.
soon as I start going out more, I'll do oils and stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
I'm still jealous of the guys that get like the gigantic like down to their chest Viking beards and stuff like that can do stuff and braid
Yeah.
it, whatever. I think that's
Yeah,
cool.
I think it's awesome too. I'm not getting that is not a goal of mine, but I want to get a good thickness in, and I hear that you have to let it go through those really bad times
Yeah.
because once this gets big, then this will catch up or something like that. I don't
Uh,
know.
I I don't know if
So
I've ever read that, but what I have read is like just let it like take like a 5 to 6 week period and just let it go. You don't touch
yeah,
it. It gets scraggly, it gets itchy. They're like wash it. I mean, do that,
yeah,
but don't trim it, don't do anything. And then you're at like a good base and then you
yeah.
can start to mold it and do whatever you want with it. And I think it was I don't know if it was last summer or the summer before when I first did it and I just let it go. Like I didn't touch it for like 10 weeks. And it came out just like here.
Like
Like
Will
it
Ferrell's hair.
kind of, yeah. It's a good comparison. I wanted it to be more Viking and it came out very Amish where it was just kind of like this would grow out and I'm pointing at the sides of my face for those of you that can't see me.
Yeah.
It would just grow out from like my jawline got long hairs and nothing else did. And I'm like, I saw a picture of me at a Brewer game and I'm like, well, God, that's frightening.
All right, well, it'll be tough to transition,
Yeah.
but we are going to give it a shot because that's what we do here. Um, what we're doing is a real quick shout out. Yesterday was Mother's Day. So,
Mm,
for all those mothers out there that do your damnedest, and you guys are simply amazing from the point of carrying around a child to delivering it to dealing with the actual children and the adult children, you do us proud. Thank you so much. Um, Moms, we love you.
hi, Mom. I have a feeling you're listening.
Yeah. Uh, Hi, Mrs. Struley.
Yeah,
Um,
I should ask her if she watches or if she listens. I don't know which one. I'm gonna
that's a good.
ask her. But she will like like on a Monday or on Thursdays when shows drop, she will text me and it'll be completely random. Like I'll be at work or doing something and she'll just like say something from the show and I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, okay. Yeah, she watched the show today. Got
Yeah.
it.
Cool. Cool. Well, thank you for listening. All the mothers out there, thank you for listening. Happy Mother's Day. You reminded me of one thing. I discovered this weekend that if you have an Alexa at your house and you say, Alexa, play Johnny and the Greg, she will play it for you. So
I did not know that.
yeah,
I should
it's
I gotta
kind of
try
cool.
that with Google. See if Google
Yeah.
will do.
See if Google does it. They should if they're
I don't
connected
know.
to Apple. Oh,
Yeah,
we're not on Google Podcast yet, are we? That
I,
might not.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
All right, scientific
I don't
experiment.
know.
Check it out. Let me know what you see. All right, let's move on to our topic. Now, we kind of did a bad here. Not this Monday, but the last Monday was May the 4th.
Mm.
And Greg, we didn't do a Star Wars theme. We talked about sports. which is so not us.
Yeah, it's
So,
really not, but we
yeah.
had bad planning that way.
Yeah. So to all of our fans out there in the nerd culture, we're sorry, and we're gonna make up for it this Topic Thunder with our Star Wars episode.
And if people know me, they know I would have much rather talked about Star Wars.
Yes, yeah, I was comfortable with sports, but I can fly either way. So, Greg, we had some interesting news that happened on May the 4th.
Yeah, is that what we're going to talk about?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. The topic is Star Wars, and we'll do a bunch of things.
Sure.
So, go for it. What is your reading?
Okay, so May the 4th is Star Wars Day. Unofficially Star Wars Day. I don't think anybody's ever declared it other than we thought, hey, May the 4th kind of sounds like May the 4th, and we'll just own it. So we did that as a fan base. We took that. On Star Wars Day, usually some type of news will drop. And today, Disney dropped that Taika Waititi, and I always have to concentrate when I say his name.
Yes, you do.
Taika Waititi, who has directed things like Jojo Rabbit. He created What We Do in the Shadows. Most people probably are super familiar with Thor Ragnarok, which is what he directed. He's going to do a Star Wars film. He's going to co-write it, and he's going to direct it. And I'm excited. I mean, I've loved everything he's done. I can't think of a single thing that I've seen that he's done that I go, nope. Even he had a bit part in Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern, and I thought he was one of the best parts of the film.
What part?
He was the best friend. He was
That was him?
That was him. Like, if you go back.
Goodness. Yeah, and he goes, watch this. He goes, whoosh.
And he's like, green. I mean, that's Taika Waititi. I mean, he was, I made a pretty good shot at acting and is just super talented in other ways too. So if you've never seen What We Do in the Shadows, he's in the film, and then I believe he produces the TV series, but the film is hilarious. I mean, it is.
Oh, I didn't know there was a film. I'm only watching the series on FX.
Go back and watch the film.
Okay, I didn't know. Yeah.
Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Condors is in it, and he is just hilarious.
Yeah,
it is. Oh, it's hilarious.
I'll have to watch that. I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's a slow burn. It has a unique sense of humor.
Definitely, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So that should be exciting. Do you know like where he's? We don't know anything.
Don't know. I mean, previous to today, we know that they're going to start doing films in what's called the Old Republic, kind of that era. It's mostly known as, well, it's Knights of the Old Republic is the name of one of the first best video games that Star Wars came out with, and not one of the first. I take that back. The original Xbox had a game called Knights of the Old Republic where you could. It was a role playing action RPG. You could make choices. Do you want to be light side? Do you want to be dark side? I mean, and that changed how the story built. Just really cool gameplay, and they really built out that era of Star Wars, where you have hundreds and thousands of Jedi and you have hundreds and thousands of Sith, and they are up to warring factions. I mean,
I always enjoyed I love their cinematic trailers for those games.
For the other games.
Yeah, they really are, and it kind of dwarfs kind of the fight choreographs they do in the movies. Now, I understood the original trilogy. I understood that. But the other ones, I was kind of like, like you couldn't make it more, I don't know, John Wickish, or I don't know. What
it gets me a little bit with some of that is like, you look at what Cartoon Network put out for the Star Wars cartoons, like Clone Wars and Rebels, and I mean, great shows. I'm not going to downplay them at all. They're good, but why not do like that full CGI film like that and just make a movie like that? I agree. Is it that much more expensive than making another film? Or
I don't know. I would love to see I don't even know if it's canon, but that Star Killer
game? Yeah, not canon.
That's not canon. Oh,
no, okay. You're talking about Force Unleashed?
Yeah. I thought that was cool.
There's like different philosophies on like how the Force should actually work in canon. Should it be kind of what we see in the films, which is they're doing some superhuman stuff, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it's not like what they do in the games where everybody is jumping 60 feet. In Force Unleashed, yeah, he's grabbing TIE fighters with the Force and like tossing them around. And, you know, I think it's cool, especially during a video game, but we don't see that in the films.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I guess so what are you hearing? Like are they not like I'm trying to figure out how to question this. So if there's this debate on how the Force works, people are just taking free reign in the video game as well.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I don't know what the real difference is because I've played the latest Star Wars video game, Fallen Order, and it was really cool. And yeah, he's doing some not quite grabbing spaceships out of the sky or anything like that.
Yeah.
But some pretty cool Force wielding kind of things. And I think it's just game mechanics. Like this is how we're going to make a 12-hour video game work versus a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thinking back, didn't people kind of freak out when Leia used the Force? Spoiler alert, Leia used the Force in what was that? What was the second?
That was Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi. Didn't she use some sort of?
She
and
did.
Everybody kind of freaked out. Well, I didn't know they could do that, and I don't know if I like that. Or
she got blown into space,
right?
And then she literally force pulled herself back onto like a safer part of the ship, and yeah, people freaked out. They tried to explain it a little bit more in the third movie, the Last Skywalker, where they go into like, hey, Leia was trained as a Jedi. Like she made it all the way to the end of her training.
Oh, really?
She did. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Have you not seen
the last one
or Rise of Skywalker?
No, haven't seen it. No, haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
plan
okay.
on it. I know everything about it.
It's on Disney Plus now. I mean,
yeah.
I tried watching it today and it buffered so much because like everybody and their mom's watching it. So, but yeah, so she made it all the way to the trials and decided not to. Now in the old like pre-Disney legacy stuff, Star Wars, she didn't become a Jedi Knight because she thought she could do more good in politics than she could as a Jedi.
Now, let's be honest, Greg. How many people do good in politics?
I'm just kidding. Leia was an exception. But in this, they kind of twisted a little bit more to where she had some other reasons that I don't want to spoil for you. So, but that other reasons why she didn't become a Jedi. But she was fully Force trained. She is a Skywalker. I mean, that's pretty powerful. But yeah, people just freaked out over that scene. And they freaked out about the whole movie, and they will continue to freak out about every Star Wars movie from now until the end of time, because some Star Wars fans are bitches.
You want to elaborate a little bit on that? I think you have a pretty interesting theory. I think it actually holds true. I think if you really think about it, it makes sense.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Because we've talked about this in the past.
Yeah.
As a fan, and I'm a longtime fan. Like I was born in '78, so I missed the premiere of the first Star Wars movie. So I was raised with Star Wars, like the big reveal of Vader being.
We all were, yeah.
Yeah, well, but some people weren't. I mean, like
true,
parents were not. They got to like when they were sitting in the theater for Empire Strikes Back, and Vader says, "I am your father." That was a shock to them. They're like, "What?" I didn't have that. I always knew that. But when the prequels came out, and they were not good. I mean, they had great moments, but overall, after seeing them dozens of times, I'm going to say that they're not good films.
Right.
I will still watch them on occasion just because I watch a lot of bad movies, and that's fine. I kind of enjoy a good bad movie. So it was then that I kind of got that rage going, that nerd rage of, oh man, they did this, they ruined it. That's not how it should have been. And then when the next ones came out, like this last trilogy with Force Awakens, and I was able to take my family.
Yeah.
We reserved seats at the theater. We did the whole thing. And I was so jazzed about that. And then I watched the film and I went, okay, probably not the direction I would have went with some things, but then that rage, that online, faceless, nameless rage that people can have, and
Right.
just attacking uh the girl who plays Ray.
Daisy.
It's,
Yeah.
yep,
Daisy. I don't know her last name.
yep, attacking her, attacking, you know, why did they kill Han? I mean, all this other stuff. I mean, going off on Ben Solo being
Yeah.
kind of Ren. I mean, just that rage, and I'm like, guys, relax. A, we don't own this. It's not ours to control. Some people think that no, it's gotten so big that Star Wars really belongs to us, to the fans. It doesn't. It belongs to the money-making machine of Disney, and that's exactly what they view Star Wars as. Now they love it too, but what they love more is the revenue it brings in and the merchandising options. I mean, they make Star Wars movies for, let's say it costs 700 million to make a Star Wars film. But what they're banking on is the billions in return they're going to make on merchandising. They opened a whole theme park around Star Wars.
Yeah.
So we don't own it. Disney can do whatever they want with it because it's theirs. They own it. And like everything else, you can take what you like and say I like this, and then you can leave the rest. It doesn't have to be this all-encompassing thing. Like you don't have to love all of Star Wars or hate all of Star Wars. Just take what you like and take what you don't like.
Yeah, I think you have a really interesting point. Like it's not ours, and I'm not in the same boat with Star Wars fans like my sister, who's a diehard. The way
Mhm.
that I feel you guys are, and maybe you're a little bit different because you tend to be a fan of really everything, nerd culture wise. Um, I'm like that with the Marvel universe that Disney helped create,
Mhm.
and I'm scared to death of the next phases. I'm worried that they're going to screw it up and they're going to take away how special what was it, 23 movies they had?
They can't take that away though. I
No,
mean,
no,
they
no,
can,
no, no. What I'm saying is the continuance of it.
right, but like eventually they're going to make a bad film. I
Oh,
mean,
of course, yeah.
or they're going to make
Law
a
of
film
averages.
that you don't like. I mean, that's
Right.
just
Law of
it's going to
averages.
happen.
Right.
Are you going to feel utterly betrayed by the
No, no, no,
Marvel
no.
universe?
I don't.
And
Oh, so you
that's
think people felt betrayed?
oh, absolutely they did. They said,
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, you've ruined my childhood with this movie. I'm like,
Well, they didn't redo the
yeah,
movies.
they didn't ruin your anything. I
Yeah.
mean, that's where I call people little bitches about the whole.
I think yeah, okay, I get that then. Because I think if you walked into a movie, I think if you walked into whatever new movie, Star Wars movie, expecting to feel the same way you felt when you were 8, then I can
Yeah.
understand why you were disappointed. But
Mhm.
it's not it also you said something when we talked about a while ago that this isn't your Star Wars. This
No.
is your kids' new this is the new generation. This is
Yeah.
their Star Wars. This
For
isn't yours.
for me, my Star Wars was episodes 4, 5, and 6. I mean, that was targeted at me.
Right.
Um, Episodes 1, 2, and 3 were targeted at a generation of kids like when we were in college. Like
Right.
those kids
Right.
got that. And then these are targeted of somewhat at my kids and then somewhat of the fan service of we want to make these 40 something nerds happy with what we make. But ultimately they know we're going to spend our money anyway.
Yeah. My only problem with the last trilogy, my only problem with it was I felt like, okay, hasn't the Skywalker story been told? I'm like, there's a whole universe out there.
Hmm.
Why are we still talking about these Skywalkers?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's how I felt about it.
Mhm.
And so I'm still gonna watch it. I'm still gonna see how it ends, but I'm very excited to see how they expand this universe.
Right.
That's what I'm interested in. So,
Yeah.
like The
I
Mandalorian, loved it.
loved it. Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think they're done. I think Ray and that group are done. I mean,
yeah,
I could see
good.
where I know where I would like them to take it.
Yeah.
I know movies that I would like to see,
Yeah.
but again, I'm not putting up $700 million to make a film. They're going to do whatever they want to do with it. And you know what? And here's the rub. And here's the thing that really gets people mad is I'm going to buy a ticket anyway. I mean, it doesn't matter what they put out. I'm
Right.
going to go see it
Yeah.
because it's Star Wars.
That's
And
that's how I am with Star Wars and with Marvel. I'm like,
yeah,
it doesn't matter. I'm gonna go see it.
I
Yeah.
mean, and maybe they'll get an opening night ticket price from me. Maybe they're going to get a Sunday matinee 6 weeks out. But one way or another, I'm going to put down money
Right.
to see it.
Right. I agree. I agree with you. I think the last way to look at that of this situation is just like the argument that I've already had with kids telling me that LeBron's the greatest player of all time. And they're not wrong in a
Of their
sense.
time,
Of their
yeah.
time, he's the greatest.
hmm
And then I'm like, no. And for a while, I remember getting in a fight with a kid on a basketball court, like a verbal argument.
Yeah.
He was telling me Kobe
Mhm.
Bryant was way better than Michael Jordan, and I just couldn't believe it. Now this kid,
Yep.
in this situation, I was the one that was way immature because I'm a 42-year-old man yelling at a 17-year-old kid that Michael was better than Kobe. And applying this to Star Wars, that was the Star Wars in the beginning in the 70s, ending in the
80s,
80s.
yeah.
That was ours. It's
Mhm.
never gonna. That's golden age. It's never gonna be replaced, no matter how many other Star Wars you put it out there. If you reboot it, whatever you do, it's not going to be what it was back then.
Mm.
And I think people have to be at peace with that. It's just like moving on.
Well, and I think part of what, because you're right. I mean, the 80s, the late 70s, early 80s Star Wars is ours. The
Yeah.
problem was like Lucas went back and he messed with them.
Yeah, you're
That,
right.
and a lot of people, again,
Which
a lot of people got excited about that. I was excited about that. I'm like, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's going to be digital effects. Everything's going to look sweeter. It's going to be cleaned up. And then some other things came out of that.
Yep.
And we're
Which
like,
will transition to this. The one I think you and I were kind of like, why was who shot first?
yeah. I mean,
Right?
and that's the biggest.
I didn't even know that was a
change.
debate. I didn't even know that was a debate.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
You know-
did you watch the re-releases in the 90s?
Yeah, but I wasn't so much of a Star Wars junkie to where I noticed the difference, right?
Okay, yeah. It's literally they CGI'd Greedo shooting first.
Right.
They like did a really weird cut of Harrison Ford's head to make him like dodge the
Right.
shot,
Yeah.
and then he shoots under the table.
I guess my question is, what's the debate? Are there people that are actually sitting there saying that this is the better way to go?
So yeah, because some people are like, like Han Solo is a redeemable character. He's a hero, and heroes don't shoot people under the table. That was the argument of Lucas
Oh,
and
no. Oh,
those type
no.
of people.
Oh,
And
no,
and like
no.
a lot of fans, me included, are like, no, Han Solo is a scoundrel. He's
He's a PG. He's a PG scoundrel.
in Dungeons and Dragons terms, he's chaotic good. He will make the right decision in the end, but he may go about it in some questionable ways. Shooting Greedo wasn't a bad thing. Greedo was not a good character. He was evil. Kill him.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the argument for Han shooting.
Well, I
first and Han
think it set the stage of who this guy is. Not only that, it
Yeah.
gave him a story arc.
Yeah,
He went from scoundrel to hero.
Yep, to wanted man. I
Yeah.
mean, he was a wanted man. We get that. He had to get himself out of there.
Right.
And it's also set him up as the older badass of our hero
Yeah.
set.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I don't know why Lucas ever changed that. I mean, I'm sure his arguments are out there, but the one thing that when people argue that we own Star Wars, like the fan base owns Star Wars, George Lucas never showed that. He held Star Wars with an iron fist and made all the decisions. And like when those reboots came out, the re-releases,
Yeah.
and people complained about it, his response was, "It's mine. You don't get to dictate what I do with my stuff."
He's right.
I'm like, oh well,
Yeah.
And maybe that helped kind of round out my kind of opinion of the trilogies from then on. Is like it's George's stuff. Where it's his sandbox. He just lets us in it.
Yeah. Yeah. He just lets us watch him play.
Yeah, and as much as the Han shooting first, I mean, I think that does change the character. The music videos that he cut in, I don't get.
Oh yeah. You mean when that girl with the weird lips singing that song?
In Return of the Jedi, he cut in like this weird alien band music
Yeah.
video, and you're like, we don't need that.
Right.
Well, what's weird in that same scene? So, um, Jabba hits the button and drops. She's a Twi'lek. Those are the aliens with the big
Yeah.
tendrils. She's a dancer. He drops her down. She gets eaten by the Rancor. In that scene, that actress, she's a dancer, and she's twirling around and doing her stuff. She has a nip slip in that scene.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, and just because I've read enough Star Wars lore, and when I was a teenager, and I went nipple. I see it. It's nipple. So because I know it's there, and you can still go back and you can see it. He didn't CGI out the nipple like he could have, but instead,
I'm writing notes. Hang on. This is Return of the Jedi we're talking about, right?
Return of the Jedi, yep, in Jabba's palace. But instead, he doesn't CGI out that, which is like a super easy thing to do.
Yeah.
But no, he puts in an entire alien music video that entertained nobody.
Yeah, I don't think I liked anything that he added except maybe more of what the Sarlacc pit was, maybe? No, he even messed that up, didn't he? He made it like a big worm.
Well, it's supposed to be, but it was always supposed to be like all the teeth and stuff were the mouth of the worm, and he'd put in like extra tendrils and, again, unneeded.
Yeah.
I liked how he cleaned up the digital shots of like Mos Eisley, which is where when Han and Chewie meet Obi-Wan and Luke.
Okay.
That's Mos Eisley spaceport, and he made that more of like a bigger kind of settlement. I mean, it's like a bigger town, bigger city than what we see in the original, and you see ships flying in, and you see more stormtroopers, so you get that feeling.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind that. That made sense to me. Making the ships cleaner, in their flight patterns and looking cooler, like the Battle of the Death Star.
Right.
It looks better because it's digital.
I'd have to rewatch them to figure out exactly what he did. It's been a while since I've watched those.
Well, you can't find, like, on a DVD, unless you're getting a bootleg copy, you can't find the originals anywhere.
No kidding?
Okay, they've never released them again.
Oh, okay. Then I think the trilogy that I bought on DVD then has.
That's the reboots.
Ah, okay. All right.
So,
well, I guess my last question, and then we'll cut this one short. Is since I have a daughter.
We're not short. We're at like 35 minutes right now.
Oh yeah, I know. But hey, it's Star Wars, so
yeah, whatever. We can talk for days on this.
Right. And so the last thing I'll ask today, and I'll have people, if you guys want to help me out or give your opinions on it, comments below, of course, or hit us on our Facebook page or our Instagram page and let us know what you think. What is the proper order? What should I show Gwen when I show this? Right? What's the proper order?
For my kids, I showed them how they were released.
That's where I was thinking.
Because just in terms of like watching the films and the like style of filmmaking makes more sense.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Now, that being said, my kids have seen them enough now that they know the order, but they don't care. They'll just watch it. Right. So unless you're waiting until Gwen's like a teenager to sit her down, it really doesn't matter. What I do
teenager, I think that's a long shot if she's a teenager.
No, she's gonna watch it way before then.
Yeah, right.
What I do tell people, like if I meet the odd person who has never seen Star Wars, like they've just chosen not to.
Talking to you, Darren Hafford.
Kind of in that, like they're like, well, what do we do? What do you got to watch it? I mean, if they're gonna just sit down and do it, they make the choice. I tell them that there's on the internet, you got to search for it because it was never appropriately released. Topher Grace of
Yes.
that '70s show is like an editor. He edits film as a hobby. Like he'll just re-edit a film. And so he took episodes 1, 2, and 3, which is the Hayden Christensen story of Anakin becoming Vader, and he re-edited those films into like a 2.5 hour one film. So because each of those films was like 2.5 hours in themselves, so he edited it into one. Maybe it's 3 hours, but it's called the Phantom Cut. So Star Wars: The Phantom Cut. You got to search for that. It literally opens up with the space battle of episode 1, like all the pod racing, all that stuff.
Gone.
Done. We don't even need it. He's like, what you need to know is that Jedi showed up. They found a boy, and now that boy is going to become a Jedi. That's really what you need to know.
Yeah.
And then the rest is told in the opening scroll. Like though, it's like, okay, there's a galactic trade war. It's started a galactic civil war. There you have it. And then he uses deleted scenes from all 3 of the films and kind of cuts those in where appropriate.
And it's really good.
It makes a pretty good film. I mean, it makes it absolutely watchable. So I'm like, when they're saying, well, those first 3, what do I do with those? I'm like, don't watch those. Just go to the Phantom Cut, watch that.
The Phantom Cut.
And then start with episode 4.
So it's the original trilogy, the Phantom Cut, and then we finish it off with the Last Trilogy.
Well, if you're going to do it chronologically, do the Phantom Cut with Margaret, and then do the original trilogy with.
Now, do you add in the Clone Wars?
No, I don't.
You don't. Don't watch those. Okay.
Certainly watch them. Yes, they are very good.
But don't watch them in terms of viewer showing.
So if you were to do that, you'd be watching Star Wars for like a year. I mean, it would be.
Yeah, you're right.
It would be a long haul.
Feel overkill. They have to really dig it.
Well, and the thing so you would have to do. You would do episode 1, episode 2, the entire Clone Wars series. But I haven't watched the last season yet, so I don't know where they end up with that one. So most of the Clone Wars series, then episode 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
You know what I've actually heard? Oh, and you got to fit in Rogue One, right?
You got to. So you got to go. You got to go after the Clone Wars series, episode 3. You've got to do. I think
Solo.
Star Wars. Yes, Solo. Star Wars Rebels.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Episode 4.
Yeah.
Episode 5.
So here's the Planet the Angel household already.
Yeah.
We're just gonna show the 9 movies and move on. If you're interested after the 9 movies, watch them whenever you want.
I mean, certainly like there's a whole nother Star Wars Resistance.
Yeah.
It's on Disney Plus. I've never watched that. I don't even know where it fits.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that there's a thing online where they teach, and from what I understand, the Clone Wars aren't in order. From what I understand, and that you have to watch like season episode 1 to episode 10. Those connect. Then you go back to 2, then go to 4. I hear it goes like that. Yeah. So you wouldn't want to do that. Anyway, let's just keep it to the movies. That was my fault for bringing the other stuff in. All right, man.
And honestly, and here's my little plug. I've heard Kathleen Kennedy, who's currently in charge of Star Wars, has made a completely stupid statement where she said, Marvel, as in Marvel Studios, they have all of these comic books to pull from for stories. We're making it all up. And I'm like, lady,
you're not.
You have novels. You have comic books
yes.
that you wrote off as part of the pre-Disney, they call it the legacy stuff. I'm like, that is some fantastic storytelling. Yeah. I would love to see a TV series like on Disney Plus or wherever of what's called the Rogue Squadron, which is it's Top Gun of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, you mentioned that in a Facebook post. My old roommate, Aaron, devoured those books. He loved
and they are quick reads for sure.
Yeah.
And they're good. They're really good.
All right, there you have it. I think we'll end it there.
Okay.
Well, everybody, may the fourth be with you. I know we're a little late on that. Sorry again. We'll end it with our usual random fact of the day. And here we go. On the Japanese island of Yakushima, Marquet monkeys are known to ride deer for transportation, and in return, they groom deer and share food with them. I've actually seen this. I actually stayed on that island for overnight, and the deer are crazy there. In terms of in terms of, they don't allow any cars or anything like that. Everything's if you want to get somewhere. Oh yeah, they'll be laying down everywhere.
Huh.
It's the monkeys you gotta watch out for, because they can scratch you, and next thing you know, you got outbreak.
Yeah.
Those are
And here we are.
Yeah, and here we are, exactly. So that's it. So for those of you that were made it this far, I think we're at 35 minutes now, 44 seconds and counting. Johnny and the Greg, we are out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Johnny and the Greg, podcast out.